Eric Haugen. Here's the links to my website, Patreon, Instagram. Like and subscribe to my videos if you enjoy them and they've helped you out. Today we're going to talk about minor keys and how to make sense of them just using our fretboard and knowing our notes on our fretboard and things like that. So let us begin. To review, if you don't know this, you definitely need to know this. The notes on your fretboard, here's how it works. All the notes are 2 frets apart, except for E and F and B and C, which are clickety-clackety, right next to each other. So if that means I'm looking down my fretboard at my E, I have slap back on. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. We would want to do the same thing with our A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And you might as well do the same thing with your D string. Honestly, you should do this with all your strings, but just so you know, the important strings are the kind of the E and the A. They're the anchor points of anything cool that you're going to end up doing. You know, riffs, chords, arpeggios, scale forms, inversions. Down here, bottom to the top, and bottom in pitch. So, that's the first piece of information you need to know. I guess, yeah, the point of these lessons, I did one a couple of weeks ago about major, is once you've learned, I don't know, 20 or 30 songs, it's a good idea to start going down theory rabbit holes, but like, be careful. Okay, ready? The YouTube algorithm is not a guitar teacher. It doesn't know where you're at and what you need to know. And to be honest, I don't really know where you're at and what you need to know. But I know that this is useful, so this is what we're doing. Oh, hold on, caught on there. Okay, once you know your notes on your strings, you then want to just know, and this is industry standard, minor scale formula. That's a 1-octave minor scale, and it goes 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7. And that's just, we won't even need to worry about why that is that way. Let's just know that that's what it is, what it be. And, you know, just so you know, like, check it. That's the same spot that your our favorite scale, the best scale, our pentatonic minor, like the home bass scale. I still love that scale. Still, to me, it's where I come back if I'm like working on stuff and want to do stuff with it. To be continued. So once we know that basic 1-octave form, the next thing, am I still in focus? Yeah. The next thing we need to do is actually look down at our fingers and know what notes we're actually playing. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Those are the notes of our A minor scale. Cool. Now, you know, when you're actually improvising, no, you don't know every note that you're playing while you're playing. But, you know, when we're thinking about things, we do know what notes we're playing. So, once you have that information, we now know the notes on our fretboard and the notes in the key of A minor. This is good. This is getting cool. The next thing we want to do is just know what chords those notes generate. And again, without having to go into intervals and how chords are built, yes, you could go down a rabbit hole about that, but there's some things that are easier to just remember. I was teaching someone in Germany yesterday. Who was it? Oh, it was Sam. And he was saying, yeah, in Germany, like he's working on his German, he's an American guy in Germany. He was like, there's like 3 different tenses for every word, male, female, and I guess neither. And you know, there's also, you know, people are like, oh, we'll just do this trick of this memory. And he's like, honestly, it's easier to just remember things sometimes. So here's the deal. In a minor key, the first note generates a minor chord. The second note generates the interesting ones, the minor 7, flat 5. Notice how long I sat there. Minor 7, flat 5. Repeat after me. B, minor 7, flat 5. Don't be afraid afraid of weird chord names, I mentioned this in other videos, the brain, when it sees something like that, it goes, nope, and tries to skip past it, but then you never learn it. So say its name, take away its power. B minor 7, flat 5. B minor 7, flat 5. That's just how it be. The third note in the scale generates a C major. The fourth note in the scale generates a D minor. The fifth note generates an E minor. The sixth note, an F major. The seventh note generates a G major, and then we're back to A. So that gave us you can hear the relationship between a scale and the chords it creates. That's the stuff right there. That's why songs sound good. That's why we need keys. So my system is, sometimes I call it Haugonomics, is that we don't need to worry about the circle of fifths to know what notes and therefore what chords are in a key. If we know this information, we know the notes on our fretboard, we know the shape of what the scale looks like, then I can transpose to any key. Oh, watch this. A, G, F sharp. I would do the same thing. Okay, there I am in F sharp. Let me look down at my fingers and know what notes I'm actually playing. F sharp. What's that? G sharp. A, B. What's that? C sharp. D, E, F sharp. So that would mean F sharp is the 1, B minor is the 4, C sharp minor is the 5, F sharp's the 1. Let's stay in this key. And then we do hackneyed or common progressions. I did this in major also. So that is a 1-4, 1-5. The 1 chord is F sharp minor, the 4 is B minor, the 1 chord is F sharp, the 5 is C sharp minor. Oh, by the way, if I'm going fast for you, there's slow down gears in YouTube over here or over here, depending on what device you're on. Spacebar pauses, arrows go forward and back. And I think I mentioned that all the gadgets I'm using today are in the description box underneath the video. Steve Carr, my old neighbor in Pittsboro, North Carolina, is letting me borrow the shop model of his new amp, the Super B. We'll talk more about that in another video. It's a nice amp. So, a 1-4-1-5 is a very good common minor key progression to play around with. And then let's talk about some of the other common minor key progressions. The next one I call the hit the road jack progression. It's going to be, let's go back up to A minor, because I did this one in a video just a couple of weeks ago. F. And this time, we're going down to E major. We'll talk about that more in a second. Hold on. Let me get some more light in this room. Hello, sunshine. Actually, next week we're gonna do Hello, Sunshine. Super furry animals song. Hello, sunshine. Not the Bruce Springsteen song. Okay, there we go. So if I lean in, woo, I get lit. I think that'll look better. I don't know. Let's find out. They call this the Andalusian cadence, and yeah, I talked about this in a video I think 3 weeks ago. It's a 1 minor, dropping down to the 7 chord, to the 6, and now the 5 is major, which is not technically kosher for natural minor. That pushes us into harmonic minor. We won't worry about that too much. You could go watch that other video. It's just a common thing that they do in minor to get a little more drama. 5 minor is more dramatically going back to 1. Here's the same progression, just so you know. Well, the same progression with a E minor instead of major would be Neil Young's Like a Hurricane. And he goes to E minor. Now I want to do it right. Hold on. What is that chord? Okay, well, I butchered it, whatever. But it's a different feel with an E minor there. So that's a cool thing to notice. And then, what was I saying? Okay, yeah, the Hit the Road Jack progression is also Stray Cat Strut, which you saw me do up in C minor. It's it's so many things. The one thing I wanted to point out here is, so back in A minor is 1. When I think of this chord, the G, I don't call it 7 anymore. I call it flat 7. I call the F flat 6, and then the E is 5, and that's because the distance from the tonal center is a flat 7, or that's a major 2nd, but over up there it's a flat 7. That's the flat 6, the F, and that's because in major you have a regular 3, a regular 6, a regular 7, but in minor you have a flat 6, a flat 3, and a flat 7, and that comes in handy later on when you're mixing and matching, because the way this stuff evolves, David Bowie, is you have a song that's coming at you in, say, A major. You're using chords from A major, but don't fall. You can actually borrow from A minor or A Dorian or A Mixolydian, and that's where those modes and other things come into play. Like you started a song here, but you're like, well, I'm going to dip over here and kind of grab a chord and then zoom on back. So yeah, that's a useful thing. And that's why I differentiate the names, because that way I'm clear in my mind. Ooh, like, if I'm writing a progression, like, here comes the flat 6. Like, here, let me show you. Say I had A major, right? A. The 6 in A is an F sharp minor. And then the 3 in A is a C sharp minor. Put on more effects just because I feel like it. Phaser, 6/8 groove. Which that's a cool major key progression. The way my brain works is I'm like, oh yeah though? What if I grab the 6 from the minor key and the 3 from the minor key, so that now I have an A. Check it. So that gave me an A, F, and C. So it started in A major, moved to F and C. Again, that's a digression. We won't go further than that. That's like another lesson. I'm looking at my notes down below to just make sure I stay on target. Well, the way I figure, if you've watched the video this long, you're one of my supporters or Patreons. Patreons? That's not a word. That's a website. Patrons. Support me on Patreon. Okay. The other standard progression, let's stay in A minor. Is a 2, so playing around with that 2 minor 7 flat 5, D, don't fight it, B minor 7 flat 5, going to now an E, let's leave it major for the dramatic 5 major, and I'll make it an E7 and A minor again. So it's interesting. This is a common Latin kind of progression, Santana, or just also Tom Waits, you know, type stuff. How do you play that chord, by the way? Can you see that? It's kind of like if you took a D, moved it up, up, so you had, now I'm on the A string, 2, 3, 2, 3. It's actually, once you get comfortable with that shape, it's not that weird. Here, let's challenge ourselves. So let's go back to F sharp minor. A lot of songs are in F sharp minor. Tom Petty, Refugee, Immigrant Song, Bulls on Parade, Crazy Train. I'm sure there's more. Let's do a 2-5-1 there. So let's see. 2 is now built off of this G sharp. So I gotta do a G sharp, minor 7, flat 5. That's 4. Nobody home. 4, 4, 3. Let's do a C sharp 7, which is just like a C7 if you moved it up 1. Those of you who know me, you know I like Tom Waits, you know I like Mark Ribot, and yeah, that 2-5-1 progression definitely will put you in there. That jockey full of bourbon, Tom Waits, Rain Dogs kind of sound. And all I'm doing, by the way, with those fills is playing around a lot with the minor scale. And adding the flat 5. I'll have to do a whole video about that because that's like number, ready? Worth the price of admission, well, which is free, alone. Flat 5s with a minor scale. You want to sound a little bit like Tom Waits, Mark Ribot? That's all you got to do. They're doing a lot more, but that's a good sound. Did I talk about everything I want to talk about? Well, my main advice, okay, let's review stuff. I always like to review at the end. We want to, know our notes on the fretboard. We want to always, by the way, continue enjoying playing guitar and try to avoid too many theory rabbit holes because the YouTube algorithm is just trying to sell you ads. Biting the hand that feeds me. Like and subscribe to my videos. Support me on Patreon if you can. Okay, that's your homework. And then once you know that, you need to know, notes, the minor scale shape, and then you need to spend some time actually staring down at your fingers and knowing what notes are actually in that scale. And then, I broke a nail. Just a little piece. It'll be all right. You want to then do some basic progressions, 1-4-1-5s, or the hit the road jack Andalusian cadence, or the 2-5-1. Now, just so you know what keys to investigate, just worry about caged keys. So if caged is C-A-G-E-D, because that's the keys most guitar players write songs in, just so you know, that's like the shapes that most things are. My battery's about to run out. Okay, hopefully I can get through all this before it just cuts off. C-A-G-E-D, it really is, everything on guitar is somehow those shapes. Then I'm just actually, what I recommend doing is taking the relative minors of those. So A minor, you should know A minor. F sharp minor, you should know F sharp minor. E minor, you should know E minor. C sharp minor, you should know C sharp minor, and B minor. Those are the 5 minor keys I think are the most useful to know because they're the relative minors of the majors. Here, I'll talk until the battery runs out. Balance, duality, it's everywhere in music. Major, minor, happy, sad, bright, dark, awake, sleeping, spicy, sweet, solid, liquid. You know what I mean? It's everywhere. So that's I'll probably do a separate video about relative minors, but yeah, it is true that for every major chord, happy, functional, kind of annoying, there's the sad, dark, brooding minor one brother that's the same DNA, and that's the relationship. C major, A minor, A major, F sharp minor, G major, E minor, E major, C sharp minor, D major, B minor. Hey, the battery didn't die yet. I think that's all my theory ramble for today. I hope these are helpful. I think they are. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.